Hello and welcome to New Filmmakers Los Angeles. My name is Danny De Lillo and we're here at the South Park Center. We have Barbary and Djaka with their movie Jazz in Wakanda. Let's take a look at the clip.
I'm biracial. I was born in Paris, but my father was.
Girl, I have been dying to go to Paris. I heard it's really romantic.
Salted caramel, please.
Okay, could we get a salted caramel and a black and white to go, please?
Sure. But you don't gotta be all French about it. Gotta be $9.19.
Thank you both for being here and thank you for coming all the way from New York City. I loved your film, but for those that haven't seen it, tell us a brief synopsis.
Jazz in Wakanda is a day in the life of a mother and a daughter. As they are on their way to see a play, Antigone, they stop to get a milkshake at Harlem Shake in Harlem. And the cashier is going to notice the mother that I play. So she's West African and French, and she has a slight accent. And she's going to notice that accent, and that's going to trigger a conversation about slavery.
This movie was captivating, and your performance was absolutely wonderful. But this relationship between you and your on-screen daughter, and who's actually your niece.
She is my niece.
Yeah. It was just so wonderful to watch. Where did the inspiration come for you in wanting to create this project?
Well, I've been an actress all my life, and I was working as a producer, and I was really making great films, but I wanted to start creating my own content. And so she was my inspiration. I was an exchange student when I was 17 years old, and I went to Northern California. I ended up in Oakland, and I studied performing arts over there. I met my African-American host family that is still my family, and she's my niece from that family. So I think it was over Thanksgiving 2016. I asked her what she wanted to be when she grew up, and she was 6 or 7 at the time. And she told me, I want to be a doctor and liberate my people. Wow. And so I thought it was really powerful. I asked her a little more questions, and she said, yeah, because, some time ago, slavery happened, and so that is why. I thought, well, I grew up in France, very far away from a civil rights movement, very far away from any powerful black figure. I think France does a good job at also not really teaching their colonial past in school. And unfortunately, I wasn't aware of that part of my identity. And I want to make narratives about multicultural people because I don't see that represented on screen, mixed identities. And identity in general and ancestry. But I thought, well, if I had a child with an African American that was quite involved in the civil rights movement, for example, like a Black Panther type, what would it be and what would it bring in the relationship between mother and daughter? It was so like it was almost like we were walking with you whilst you were just experiencing this. Like it felt so intimate and personal. And it must have been such a beautiful treat to have this young person who gave you the inspiration about your film, but then also made you look at your own self and what you are and what you want to create and what you want to put out there to the world. And then you evolved in this project and you're working with this wonderful man right here. How did you get involved together?
In 2015, we met. We were working in the same company. We did a documentary together about the war in Syria, which was directed by Sebastian Younger and Nick Quested. And we got to know like a lot of friends, filmmakers that we bonded together. And then when we got the script, we were like, all right, we need to make this film. So we reached out to all of them and everyone was in. So our editor, Mariah, and everyone was like, yeah, let's do it. So everyone behind camera was like females, black,
immigrants,
fantastic.
A lot of immigrants.
So we had, probably 70% of our crew was female, and then 100% of our cast was women of color.
Fantastic, as it should be. And I think what was wonderful, and obviously you being from France as well, like I don't think there's enough films in there that show you know, people from different countries that have settled in other countries. There's not enough of that experience, and I think people are sometimes surprised that, you know, we can all be quite a mix of many different things, and how beautiful that is, but we don't see enough of that on camera as well.
Absolutely. That's why I wrote the script. Even in the script, the cashier tells me, well, you're French, but you're black. I don't understand.
Right.
So it goes back to what does it mean to be, you know, black, white, yellow, purple, pink. We don't really care. We're just humans, and we should focus on that. Now we should obviously embrace the culture and the traditions that we all have with love, humor, poesy. Like there's so many ways to celebrate each other. But I think that she was just a perfect inspiration and vacuum for me to tell that story.
Yeah, and I honestly think this, as I was saying off camera, I think this story I'd love it just to sit with every young person to sort of experience this great journey and how beautiful it is that we've all got, you know, differences about us from different places, different countries, different accents, different everything, and just seeing it through the eyes of this girl, it was wonderful. And she's a great little actress, isn't she? My goodness, isn't she wonderful?
She's wonderful.
Yeah.
She's amazing. She's been on stage since she was probably 5 years old.
Yeah.
She's performed with the Shakespeare Company in the Bay Area. She was in Cinderella last winter. She's just great, and we love her very much. So we try to, you know, get her to have experiences, and I think it's very important to have representation. Representation matters. I think Barbary and I, you know, also bonded on the fact that we didn't see enough stories that represented us.
Yeah.
And it was important for us to just create a narrative that represented all people from all over the world.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I honestly, again, I can't emphasize enough, being European myself, I don't think there's enough representation of people that are from my country, England, and your country in France, of people that have come from everywhere and all over the world and are British or are French. And I think that is, I'm so glad that you've made this project, because I think we just need more, and so thank you.
Thank you.
But I think your film was so poetic and so beautiful to watch. It was so artistic. The soundtrack was amazing. The colors were beautiful. It was set in Harlem, which it's a wonderful part of New York City.
Really
tell us how
tell us
how.
saying it looks beautiful. Like the script was made for like 2 sunny days in Harlem.
Yeah. And it gets hot when it's sunny in New York.
In August.
It wasn't hot.
It wasn't.
Started, I mean, we got like...
You fooled us, yeah.
Yeah. And we got like 2 days of rain. It was gray. It was in August 2018, over a weekend. And we were like expecting like sunny skies and everything is going to be beautiful dresses and like, you know, and then like we ended up with 2 days of rain and we were like, what? And then like...
Hello, filmmaking.
Yeah. So we made it and we were like, okay, let's get whatever we need, we'll make it happen.
Yeah.
And we went back to the edit room and we were like, okay, let's just deal with it.
We worked around it. We pulled through thanks to our DP, Kalia Warren. She was amazing. And thank you for congratulating us on the soundtrack. It's an amazing West African and French artist that lives in Paris. It used to be my singing coach, actually, Badier.
Really?
And it was really an ode to Harlem. We absolutely love New York. I've made the move now. I'm in LA.
Yeah.
Made it west. Barbary is still
Not
in
yet.
New York. I'm trying to pull him.
Yeah.
But
I'm already far away from...
I know. But yeah, the neighborhood of Harlem gave a lot to me as an actress. Also, I was part of a classical theater of Harlem for a minute, and we just wanted to celebrate that.
I'm so glad you did, because I lived in Harlem, and it's such a wonderful, vibrant. There's so much music. There's just so much that's there, and I think it was a great testament to Harlem. Obviously,
absolutely.
You know?
I also connect to the neighborhood, you know, through the French Renaissance and everything. So historically, it's just it's like a perfect setting for me.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, it's fantastic to see your film, you know, with us at New Filmmakers, and the experience of taking it to other film festivals and audiences. How has that experience been for you?
I mean, we have been into like 7 festivals.
As you said, yeah.
This is number 8, but the only difference that all of them was on the East Coast side.
Oh,
this is
okay.
our first festival
West
on the
Coast
West
debut.
Coast.
There you go.
And
Fantastic.
actually, that's actually the first festival that we were able to get Jazz to see herself on the big screen.
Oh, did she love it?
She loved
like
it.
the Q&A, and for us, like now she can go and think like she can do anything.
Yeah.
You know, that was like we saw her represented on the big screen, and
Yeah.
to see this in her eyes yesterday, it was so amazing.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
great.
Well, she was the inspiration to the story,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I think that is what is so important, like to share with young people and children, that they do have the empowerment to feel they can go and do anything, you know, and we need to do more of that consistently. What did you kind of want your audience to take from your film?
Definitely wanted to, pinpoint the fact that there aren't really a lot of stories about multicultural people,
Yeah.
multi-languages people. We don't hear enough accents, in my opinion.
It's true.
We don't hear just people living their lives from different part of the world and not necessarily being victimized,
Right.
or having, if it's an African story, it doesn't need to be a warlord.
Yeah.
No, some African people are just living their lives.
Yeah.
So for me, it was important that people, what they can take away from it is that ancestry, identity matters a great lot, and it needs to be celebrated. It just can't be tool of divisiveness.
Yeah.
I think, what we see happen in some countries and in governments, it's a shift that we wouldn't have really imagined 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And so we need to be careful, and we have platforms, and we're able to have voices, and the platform of film shapes social beliefs and social attitudes. So it was really, trying for people to take away that we should embrace each other in our
Yeah.
differences.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
as
no.
my background is like, it's all documentaries. I started like 10 years ago with a documentary about Egypt, about the revolution in Egypt, which was
Yeah.
nominated for an Academy Award, the Square. So, and actually, I would say like, use the camera as your weapon, like to tell stories and to show people places and things that they can't see, they can't represent, they can't. Just when you make a movie,
Perspective.
when you make a movie like this, like you try to show people like from everywhere, like there is a story somewhere that you haven't seen before
100%.
and represent it. So
For sure.
And there's so many layers to why we love film, but it's great when you make a film that can either educate, people can experience, they can learn, they can embrace, they can identify all of those
Exactly.
different things.
Yeah.
And that really beautifully came across in
thank
your film.
you. Thank
you.
Honestly, very, very glad that you made it, and I want to buy the soundtrack. So just
Oh,
let me know how we
cool.
can do that because it's so good.
Thank you.
But so what is next for you both?
So I have a short film that I just starred in that's coming, that's going to be streaming on Hulu for Black History Month.
Fantastic.
That was directed by Philip Humans,
Yeah.
who is the first African American to win Tribeca,
Yeah.
and he's 19 years old.
Just some people just
Just
yeah.
like that. So so I just started in that, and I'm developing my second short about a multicultural secret society of women disrupting and destroying the establishment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can it really happen? Can we make it happen? Wonderful. That's fantastic.
And I'm writing and developing. I work as a producer as well, but I act, and I'm going to be directing another short for Women's Weekend Film Challenge.
Oh,
That's
great.
a wonderful association that puts women together in front and behind the camera. They started in New York, and we're doing the first challenge in LA in about 2 weeks.
Yeah, and hashtag this T-shirt right here. It's great. And what have you, Bobby? What's next for you?
So I'm still at GoCrest, which is a
Yep.
one-stop boutique
It's amazing.
doing post-production.
Yeah.
And we have our sister company, Saboteur, for distribution and a production company.
Yep.
So I have a lot on my plate, but we have the short that we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Barbara's always part of the team.
You're
and
such a good team, both of you. Like
Thank
I
you.
can really feel it, and it's when you've got a strong team, you can get a strong film as well. You're both wonderfully experienced in many different ways in filmmaking, but there's many aspiring filmmakers that would love to follow in your footsteps. So individually, what piece of advice do you go by as a filmmaker that maybe you could share with our audience, or both of you?
be real. Show people what they didn't see before. So try to get stories and try to represent people that they haven't been represented before. That's what I would say.
I love it.
It's
Thank you.
it's fascinating, and
It is.
yeah.
It is.
I think I would say create your own content. That's really important. I think, I was an actress for a long time. I was always trying to create on the side, writing plays to start with, now that we have access to iPhones and everything, I asked Badia if I could shoot his next music video. I bought the iPhone 11 gimbal Osmo Mobile 3, and I just went to Venice Beach and we did it.
Amazing.
So
amazing.
yeah, do it. Even if you fail hard, fail forward. Next time will be a win.
Amazing. Thank you very much. Like I've just been in some wonderful TED Talk, but I appreciate it. Well, thank you for jazzing Wakanda.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's a joy to have you both here, and we need both of your artistic visions, so keep making more films.
We'll be back.
Okay, good. We hope so. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.